Everyone. I'm Devin, so I've been your MC for the whole weekend. I just want to thank you all so much for coming through for this weekend. I hope you all had a good weekend. Awesome, I'm so glad to hear. Yeah, so this has been an incredible weekend, I think, for everyone. We've had some really great weather today, which has been amazing. I mean, this venue, it's like sitting in a glass box next to the ocean, coding all day. You couldn't probably ask for a more aesthetic hacker venue, which is great. The first day was so full of so much excitement. Everyone was in such a vibe. This is really the kind of atmosphere that we wanted to create with this hackathon, and make it really inclusive and make it really happy and powerful. And I think everyone really got together with getting into the vibe of things, making a lot of friends. We've had a few surprises along the way. We had that incredible musical act last night. We've had a couple of musical sessions in between. It's actually been quite a musical event. Very creative. And the meditation session as well yesterday was amazing. Thank you to Nicole for organizing that. But yeah, so now I'm gonna just kick off a little bit with a recap of how the hackathon went down. We had 190 attendees, 144 hackers, 69% of which were actually from South Africa. So those are really, really cool numbers. Well done. It's been incredible to see the levels of participation, especially from all of the local Cape Townians and Johannesburgians, Joburgers, and and everyone else here. So I mean, everyone as well that traveled far and wide to get here. We really, really appreciate you taking the time to come down. 42% of all of the hackers were brand new to Ethereum, like brand new. All of the concepts that they saw here today, they've actually learned, taken, and implemented in the period of this weekend. So some of the hackathon projects that did come out of this have been even more impressive because of that. And 15% of the hackers were beginners, so had some maybe prior knowledge, but were still very new to Ethereum and blockchain. So it's been really incredible. In total, we had 33 projects. 33 projects is an incredibly high number to get out of a hackathon like this. So also, round of applause to all of you again. Cool. So I'd like to just, it's been a really intense kind of process judging all of these projects, because there were some really, really incredible projects and the level was very high. And I think you've all done very well, but I know the judges have now, we've decided on our top 4 projects. So the top 4 projects in no particular order, if you could please maybe come to the stage. And they're gonna give now a quick demo of their projects to you guys and just show you what they've done. And there's some special mentions as well that we'd like to just say before as well the presentation demos come on, because there were so many incredible projects. We couldn't put them all into the top 4, but you guys did really, really well and you did impress the judges. So the top 4 finalists in no particular order are Wildcards. Okay, cool. Snap, Detox, and Sebenzai. Cool. I think they're all already here. Cool. So the top special mentions are USSD for All, Will-O-the-Wisp, Ulti-Markets, and DAO versus DAO. Cool. Yeah, you guys all did very, very well. So I'd like to just bring up to the stage now the first project to demo for you, and that is the Wildcards. Here's your tech card.
John, if you want to start the engine.
Loading. Wildcards. I want you to all imagine we are on a safari. Wildcards is an always for sale tokenization of endangered. Wait. A Vitalik black rhino. Endangered animals like black rhinos are critical to have funding in order to conserve these species. So what exactly have we built? We have used a harbinger tax system to build non-fungible, collectible, endangered species rhino cards. So what you see over here is a collection of black rhinos that are, most importantly, always for sale. So how does this whole harbinger tax system work? When you see a rhino that you want, which is always on sale and scarce, you buy it for the current price that it exists at, and whenever you buy it, you have to set the price which you will sell it at, right? But if you set a really, really high price which you will sell it at, guess what has to happen?
You have to pay tax on that price.
You have to pay 5% tax per annum on the price you set to sell it. And where does this tax go? It goes directly to the Rhino Conservation Fund. And this is how we raise money for critically endangered species. And right in the back end there, our chief engineer is busy making some blockchain transactions and buying the different rhinos. There's Griff, who currently costs 2 ETH. Incredible rhino right there. All go and buy Griff. And this is the basis of our application. And what we plan to do is extend this to many more endangered species, such that snow leopards, sloths, and a myriad of other endangered species can all stand in line to receive funding as people clamor to buy these scarce cards that represent these individual animals. And you can also click and see more information on them. And if we go right to the end, let's go right to the end. You'll notice that we get to the end pretty quickly. And why do we get to the end pretty quickly? Because there's not many of these people left. These are scarce, guys, and we really need to look after them. So we implore you, the community, to buy your favorite rhino and start paying your harbinger tax to one of these amazing foundations. Thank you so much, guys. Buy your rhinos. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Wildcards. The next project to the stage could please be Snap.
Hi everyone. We're Snap. So there's a bit of a problem, and that is if you want to be a responsible investor and you've got a portfolio, it's probably in your best interest to rebalance every once in a while. And this is actually a bit of a problem when it comes to managing your portfolio in a decentralized manner. And as our good friend Thanos says, fun isn't something one considers when balancing their portfolio. But this is again in reference to this particular product. But this does put a smile on my face. So in order to counteract this problem, we built what are known as Snap funds, which operate on these Snap. Oh, so double click. Operate on these Snap protocols. So, oh yeah, there we go. What we do is we allow a user to select a basket of ERC20 tokens, select a rebalancing period, top it up with some Ether, and then away it goes. It'll automatically rebalance whenever that period rolls around. So yeah, I'll pass it on to Chris.
So I can think of no better way to show this functionality than with a demo. So UX in decentralized apps is really hard, so we try to make it friendly and sort of guide the user through this process by explaining what's going on. what you need to do, and the whole way along telling every step of the way what needs to happen. So we're going to create a little fund here, specify how often we want the fund to rebalance, and what we want the starting value to be in Ether. Definitely shouldn't be negative. That wouldn't make sense. And we're going to make a name for the fund. And now we can go and add some tokens. So we can filter by price, by symbol. Market cap sounds like a good thing to do. So let's filter by some Bitcoin, some ETH. We got to add some DAI in this mix as well. And we got the latest prices here for each of these tokens, and we can go and say like what ratios we want for each of these tokens. And we can see obviously like the outstanding balance is shown in this little gray bar here, and we can go and like build up the fund based on what we really feel is important ratios to have in this fund. Maybe we don't want GNT tokens. And then we can go and actually create a fund and deploy it to the blockchain. And at this point, this fund will be created, and we can at any point in time choose to top it up. We can add new funds to it, take funds out of it afterwards. We can modify the ratios, the rebalancing period. I can switch across to Rinkeby if we want to deploy it. I'm on the mainnet right now because they have more tokens, so it makes the UX a little bit better. But I do have one fund that is deployed that we can take a look at. So we can see some information about that, the name of it, what assets are in it, when the next rebalancing period is, and what the current value of that fund is. But this wouldn't really make sense unless we can really rationalize this kind of system and this design decision. So to this end, we made a backtesting utility as well, which is open in this tab, and where we can actually quantify and justify why this kind of process makes sense. So I'm going to hand over to the man who made it.
So yeah, thanks for pointing out that I made it, because as you see, the UX of this is much worse than the stuff that these guys built. But yeah, it was very important for us to deep dive into the data and to actually validate that what we were building here does actually make sense. So we went and fetched price data for the almost a year of Ethereum and roughly 10 ERC20 tokens. And we deep dived into some serious data science. What we wanted to see is how these rebalancing methods actually perform in a backtesting method. And this all got translated into this small Python application that you see here that we intend to actually integrate with the much nicer looking web app that you just saw. So the idea here is that you essentially have, a portfolio of potential tokens that you can choose from. At this point, because this is a prototype, these are allocated all uniformly with the fund across the fund that you add. There is this tab that lets you choose two different rebalancing methods that we actually tried. One is the one that is already implemented in the smart contracts that they just mentioned, which is essentially just periodically. So you can actually go and say, I want this to be balanced daily or weekly or monthly or whatever you actually want. And the second one is actually rebalancing by threshold. That is, if you have, let's say, 4 assets allocated in your portfolio, and one of those is actually deviates largely from it, then this gets rebalanced. So we snap it, and we can have a look at how this performs with the HODL method. We dive deep even further to see, what recommendations we can give of allocations of funds. We ran a simulation of 50,000 random portfolios, and these are the outturns for the maximum Sharpe ratio and the minimum volatility. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Team Snap. Next up is DTalk.
Hi. So I don't know if you guys know, but 2 days ago, 500 million people lost access to a live streaming app in India called TikTok. And so we set about to make a decentralized live streaming system that nobody could shut down. So we used LivePeer to handle the decentralized transcoding. You can see here. And then we used Burner Wallet for the UI to make it very accessible, and you could pre-fund some token in order to access the stream. And then we used Raiden to handle the actual payments and tipping. So as you can see here, you can interact with the UI and tip in DAI, and that's handled through Raiden. And then it continues to give you access to the stream. And then if you stop paying, then the bar is reduced, and you will lose access to the stream. So yesterday we actually ran a proof of concept of it. I don't know if you were here, but at the back there we had a electronic music artist who was here, and he streamed worldwide through the platform, and then people were able to pay and tip through the Burner Wallet system. At that time it was through XDAI. We switched to Raiden yesterday, and he raised I think more than $200 actually in people paying to access the stream. So yeah, that's the system. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Team DTalk. The next team to please come to the stage is Sebenzai.
Prepare.
Hello, everyone. We're Team Sebenzai. This weekend was the first time we've built anything with Ethereum. And Sebenza means work in Xhosa and Zulu. And basically, we're building a mobile platform that enables people in South Africa to make money on their phones and earn a sort of public resume that's been verified by doing data labeling tasks to train machine learning models. And suppose you want to do a voice-to-text system. You know, maybe it's an audio medical chat system where someone can speak to a doctor, but it's actually AI. There is no voice-to-text model for Xhosa, Swahili, and this long tail of African languages. And so we're hoping that Sebenzai can help give Africa a voice. And voice is just one example type, but it's what we built this weekend. So basically, you could take an hour of audio, and because there's no model, you could have a person listen to it and transcribe it. And it would take them an hour. And you'd have to trust them with that audio, because there might be private data in it, and they're going to hear it, so you have to trust them. And so instead, one thing we can do is, and I'll show you what a worker sign-up looks like quickly, and we'll do that in the background, and then we'll create the job to do the transcription. So the worker would normally do this on their phone, but we're just going to do this here. So what we'll do is we'll upload an audio and we'll digitally shred it into small pieces so that no one piece is longer than 5 seconds, and then there's no context. So you don't have to worry about some private data. And each piece will be shown to several workers because we can't trust one worker to give us the right answer. And the worker's skill is stored on Ethereum. So we do that by first giving them a test. So here's a Xhosa test.
Uziva njani namhlanje?
Uziva njani namhlanje translates into how are you feeling today in English. Can you all repeat that after me? Uziva njani namhlanje? Great.
Ndiyaphila. Enkosi.
Ndiyaphila, enkosi. That's a response to the previous one. I'm good, thanks, in English.
Kumnandi ukunibona nonwabile nonke.
Kumnandi ukunibona nonwabile nonke, which translates to it's nice to see you all happy in English.
And so the worker does this test, and we know the right answers, so we can calculate their skill, and we store their skill on Ethereum. We'll go into a little bit more detail on that later, but one thing about it is we're verifying their skill, and so as they do tasks, that skill goes up and down because we show each task to several workers, and we do a sort of skill-weighted consensus to get the right answer. We do quadratic voting on the skill, but we'll go into some more detail. What's happening here is we've uploaded an audio file. So the 10-second audio file is going to be digitally shredded into maximum 5-second pieces, and the audio file says,
Singasebenzisa ubuchwepheshe njengesixhobo sophucula ubuntu, which translates to we can use technology as a tool to uplift humanity in English.
And so the demo spirits are not as kind to us this time as the first time. So we'll pull up the video from earlier. We spun everything down and we're like, yes, we could finally go to sleep, but apparently we had to do this again. So
and we've never built
just go to the part of the audio after the video after the. You can mute the sound. So basically, the 10-second audio gets broken up into the color codes of the sections allocated to workers. And initially, no workers have completed it. And then on their phones, people in the crowd, when we did this earlier, are typing in the answer, like listening to the audio, typing in the answer. Once we get all the answers for a little snippet, we run this skill-weighted consensus to calculate skill, and we store their skill on a token. And once they've completed all the sections, fast forward to the end. So I want to tell you about the Ethereum piece and the way we store their skill. But once we have the confirmations and consensus, we then have the answer for that piece, and we put it all together again. But
yeah, so I mean, I've definitely been losing some easy course transcription skills this morning from a lack of sleep. So what you can see here is basically we've implemented sort of a lightweight queryable skill token that stores basically the reputation of the worker on the blockchain. Ideally, in future, we'd like to replace that with maybe like a ERC 1329 token or something else. But you can see as the blockchain states adjust, you can see how the skills, before skill and after skill of the worker, and that obviously affects his the jobs he gets and his authority on what makes a correct answer. Something I just want to give a quick shout out also to the Open Zeppelin guys. We're coming from a very little Ethereum Solidity background, and having their templates and building blocks and examples have been an amazingly useful tool to bootstrap and help us get up to speed quickly. You'll also see some the DAI transfer events. It's firing from the state changes on the chain. That was meant to be our treasury contract. We had some issues with that this morning, and I think that's partly why the demo now broke. So yeah, ideally, I mean, we would love to give our workers like a stable coin to protect them from volatility in the crypto space, because this can become quite a valuable income for them.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the other teams mentioned that there's 24% unemployment in South Africa, and so we can create jobs where people can use their phones to earn bits of money. And so far, we've been playing with ideas of like paying them in airtime, but I think DAI would be much better. We just need a little bit more than a weekend to get everything working. But yeah, I mean, hopefully you could all sign up and help us give Africa a voice and create jobs while building machine learning systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebenzai. Yeah, and just another all-around special congratulations and a really well done to the top 4 teams. You guys have done really, really incredible work this weekend. And yeah, round of applause to you all again. So coming up next, our sponsors would also like to come up and give out some special mention awards or some special awards based on teams that built on their products. So I was hoping I could call up now New Cypher to the stage. If Justin. Cool.
This one, the one on the stand.
Oh, do you want the one on the stand? Yeah. We're gonna get another musical interlude.
I don't know, it'd be almost weird at this point not to have some kind of an instrument.
Test, check.
Yeah? So sometimes when at a hackathon, when there is not a particular submission with a first order privacy focus or a first order focus on developing cryptographic primitives into a usable application in line with our mission statement of privacy as a human right, we decide instead to distribute our awards among projects that have sort of a generally interesting cryptology, which I think is the right thing to do for layer 2 applications. So if you are working on a layer 2 application, you find yourself sponsoring an ETHGlobal event in the future, and you're in a similar scenario, I think that that's the best way to support the community. So I have chosen 8 such submissions, and our $3,000 prize will be divided equally among these 8. And I will just run down them really quick, and for some of them, give the sort of weird little angle that I thought NuCypher or more generally cryptological development might be an interesting fit. So these are dvote. Of course, with dvote, we may want deliberation or private voting in some sense, or batch private voting. Wildcards. You know, maybe we have, like, if you own the card that the animal belongs to, only you can see its GPS location, so you could, like, defend your animal. That'd be kind of fun. You could automate this. Although I almost didn't pick wildcards because they cast me as a baby rhinoceros, which I thought was odd. But then I realized that means I have a lifetime of rhinoceros ahead of me, which sounds kind of fun. DAO versus DAO. You know, all the weird little in-game components there can be interestingly shared among their DAO participants in secret. DTalk, mostly because it was just awesomely groovy, but you could imagine comment section, discussion section there. Snap, because you folks are so friendly and I love that thing. Sebenza, the use cases there I think are probably pretty obvious once you get around to it. LeakOX. This thing was awesome, and you all were like working on implementing NuCypher until the last second, but I'm sure you'll get there. We've always wanted some cool way to do like a decentralized secure drop. And then last but not least, Snake Nation Colony, mostly because I think it's pretty gutsy to demo a colony app at an ETHGlobal event.
thanks so much. This has been, of course, a wonderful event. Look forward to seeing you at future ETHGlobal and other future ETH events. We will be at ETH New York, and we will also be offering a prize there. We also have ongoing remote hackathons. It's easy to lose track of them, but we have at least one remote hackathon that's going on right now, and I believe there's another one starting pretty soon, like mid-May, like in 3 weeks or something. So again, discord.newcipher.com. We do have a channel just dedicated to hackathon logistics, so you can go in there if you want to continue hacking. Look forward to seeing you all later today. I hope you all have a beautiful day, a beautiful evening, a good amount of hydration, and a beautiful time hacking on whatever you may hack next.
Thank you so much, Dustin. No, huge thank you to NewCipher again for being one of the sponsors for the event. I'd like to bring up to the stage now the Maker team.
Hey everyone, we saw a lot of great hacks. I think 13 teams integrated DAI or attempted to integrate DAI, and I thought 4 of them did a really excellent job. 2 of them were already up on the stage, DTalk and Sabenzai, just really quality hacks, and you guys did awesome integrating DAI. And the 2 USSD projects we thought have a lot of potential in growing DAI usage around Africa, and so USSD for all and LitBits USSD will also split. All of them will split the 3,000 DAI prize equally. Thank you. That's all. Cheers.
Thank you, Sean. And yeah, thank you as well to Maker for being a wonderful sponsor of this event as well. Next to the stage, I'd like to call up Jacob from Raiden.
Hi, everyone. This has been an amazing weekend, and for Raiden, I think we've had 7 or 8 teams hacking on Raiden and some other teams showing interest, which is awesome for us. But 3 projects were really, really amazing and really utilized Raiden in a very cool way. And of these 3 projects, the winner will be YouTube, because they had an amazing demo and came a very far way in very short time. So they're the winners. But since we like the 2 other projects so much, we wrote back to the mothership in Europe and are currently working on seeing if we can find some other prize for the 2 other projects, which is Fairspot and also Detox. Not Detox, Detox. So yeah, thank you very much for an awesome week.
Well, thank you so much, Jacob. All right, so I'd like to just call to the stage now Kartik and Andrew to the stage, if you guys would like to just come up for ETHGlobal.
Thank you. Well, yeah. So, you want to take that?
I'll take that. So, everybody, thank you so much for kind of being patient with all of us. We tried a lot of new formats and a lot of new things at this event, and we're super grateful that we're all here and about to sort of wrap the weekend. I wanted to start off by thanking our sponsors who kind of make the event possible. Without their support and kind of everything that they bring, from mentors to kind of being there late night to feeding us stuff last minute and making everybody's nights, this would not be possible without their support. So I want to start off by thanking NewCipher. Thank you so much for being a sponsor to ETHCapeTown. Thanks again to Maker. And Raiden, ENS, EQ, BrainBot, Taurus, and UNICEF, thank you so much for supporting this event. This would not be possible without you. Also want to kind of give a special shout out to some of our seasoned partners who have kind of supported us throughout the year for all the events ETHGlobal is going to do, and these are companies like Scale, 0x, UNICEF again, Thundercore, and Consensus. And especially for this weekend, ETHCapeTown, our event partners, Ethereum Foundation and Linum Labs. Without their support, we would definitely not have been able to make this weekend work and make it a fun weekend for all of you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to hand this off to Andrew for a handful of more things before we kind of wrap up the evening.
Thank you, Kartik. Yeah, I just want to run through, on behalf of the entire ETHGlobal team, some special acknowledgements for putting this event together. You know, there's a million different details that go into putting this event together, and we started planning with the Linum Labs team. Gosh, I think the first calls were last year, almost a year ago. There's so many late night calls and so many details to take care of to make an event like this happen, and every step of the way, Linum Labs team has just been awesome to work with. They made so much of this happen, so it's a huge thanks. I want to thank each of them individually: Devin, Emily, Mikhail, Nicole, Megan, Wayne, Paul, Veronica, Ben, Michael, Kent, Milani, Florian, Lisa, Ryan, and Tyler. And of course, Paul. Thank you so much. If you see them after the event, please thank them, because they really made this happen. And then also, we want to acknowledge all the volunteers. There were over 30 volunteers who came. And I actually have some special thanks to Craig, Shabier, Malafitsani, Osita, and Thandele. They volunteered for the event, did an awesome job, so please, a round of applause. And then, of course, for everyone who was involved, the speakers, the mentors, the sponsors, the judges, and the venue staff and the AV team and the food vendors, and of course all of the hackers. Let's give ourselves a huge round of applause. Thank you, everyone.
And just to kind of wrap up what just happened this evening or this afternoon, we had 33 amazing submissions, and our 6 judges, Anna, Andy, Devin, Griff, Simon, and Vitalik, kind of saw all these projects, and we presented them live to everybody else in the audience too. And they did the hard task of figuring out who the top 4 teams are, and you kind of saw all those 4 teams go up on stage. But the question is, what do these finalists win? If you've kind of been to an ETHGlobal event before, you would know that these events are not competition. The goal is to actually encourage people to kind of try out the Web3 stack and kind of play with a lot of what's out there and actually build something and continue building it after these weekends. So as a result, we want them to be very collaborative in nature. We want them to be very educational, and they're intentionally directed towards a lot of newcomers. We saw 4 amazing teams come up on stage and kind of demo what they've done. And as they kind of mentioned in their own demos, so many of them had not worked on a lot of these technologies 2 days ago. So just being able to see what they did over the past 36 hours has been amazing. So instead of kind of having a first, second, third winner, we actually want to say all 4 of these teams are our finalists and are winners. And as a result, the way we're going to do this is every team member will be given $250 worth of ETH or DAI as being part of the finalists. So all these team members win $250 USD worth of ETH or DAI, and I want to congratulate all of them for making it throughout the weekend. Thank you so much. And on top of that, we'll also reach out to you with a special kudos NFT token, so you can actually brag about the special achievement as a winner and a finalist for this event, and we'll kind of coordinate the delivery of this token via Gitcoin to you after this event. And same thing for all the other prizes for sponsors, as well as our main prizes. And I kind of want to just summarize again, like ETHGlobal itself is an organization that helps run all these events around the world to encourage more people to get into this ecosystem. Last year alone, we ran 6 events and attracted a little bit over 4,000 developers into our events, out of which 1,000 of them had never done any smart contract or Web3 work, and they were kind of entered into the system as beginners and newcomers. So our goal is to actually increase the number of developers who are working on this stack, and this is how we kind of see our own progress, and we do events around different places. So I want to kind of just talk about 2 other events that are upcoming next on our schedule. The first one is ETH New York, which is on May 17th, the weekend of 17th to 19th, so about 4 weeks from now. If you're going to be around, or if you are nearby or live in the city, or would you like to travel, please do apply to the event as a hacker or a speaker or a sponsor, and go to ethneyork.com to find out more. and this is in May. And the next event after that is going to be ETH India, which is going to be our biggest event in Asia for this year, and that's on the 2nd of August. And to find out more about ETH India, please go to ethindia.co to apply or kind of do the same thing for the rest of our events. And to find out what else is going on this week, this year for ETHGlobal, there's 4 more events that we have planned for the rest of the year. You can find out about all those on ethglobal.co, where we have everything from the talks that we recorded this weekend to our mailing list, where you can find out about what else is going on and also ways to get involved in being able to be part of these events. And finally, I know you've all just been waiting for me to stop talking and so you can enjoy and take anywhere from a nap to a food break. I want to just remind everybody that 3 minutes from now, we're going to wrap this up, and we have our after party, proudly sponsored by EQ, at the Great Africa Cafe and Beach, which is just down the street. So if you exit from this venue and take a right, you'll see it in front of you, and we'll be kind of heading over there right after this. So there's free drinks and food, and we're going to go on later in the evening. And with that, I want to wrap up ETHCapeTown for the weekend. Thank you so much. Woo! And before we all leave, I got one quick request for all of us. What we're going to do is we're going to clear these tables, and we're going to invite everybody on stage and also on the first kind of here, and we'll just take a group photo of all of us that attended this event. So just kind of everybody make your way out to the stage as well as kind of here, and we'll just take a massive happy photo of all of us. Thank you so much.